Good morning, friends. See, I told y'all I had a feeling it was going to be like this. And it's not like in any way complaining. I just had a feeling that we're going to stay tapped in. This you know what it feels like, you guys. Good morning though. Welcome in. Child, I was about to say Tuesday. It's Wednesday. Yep, we are still. How are you doing this Wednesday? I'm over here still, I have batches of elderberry syrup getting bottled up and doing the things, working on packages. And I was going to say, it almost feels like this. It's like Mercury and Sag wants us to kind of I don't know, circulate the truth is kind of how I hear it. I think Mercury and Scorpio is definitely going to do, I don't know, it's going to feel I feel like it's going to be more quiet is what I'm trying to say, but I was just listening. I thought maybe what we would do is just hop on here and just shuffle some cards and see what comes through, and we're hanging out and just connecting with each other. Thank you so much for being present in this space with me if you're new here. Thanks for coming to hang out. I'll give you my spiel. We don't pop up over here to monetize anything. We're just teaching and sharing space and learning, holding space to channel messages as they come through. I know, I think Mercury and Sagittarius just wants to support us too, because it's a challenging frequency, and it's challenging to be sitting in these water trines. But I do also still just want to continuously encourage you with that energy of Uranus going back to Taurus. Okay. You're going to surprise yourself. Uranus is saying, get into it, get some Palo Santo. Okay. I know. Look, the smoke's been smoking thick. I'm telling you. Whew. So I got my coffee and I was like, you know what? We're going to tap in together once again. Before I get into the day, I felt really drawn to the Every Little Thing You Do is Magic Tarot. Some moments, it's so odd. I've never really had a deck quite like this. The art is beautiful, but it's so odd. Like sometimes I will really connect to a deck, and sometimes I won't. But this one's like on and off. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the art is very shamanic in nature and very if Uranus and Taurus could definitely be the vision of a shaman, out in nature, moving in unexpected ways, seeing things that may not necessarily be seen out in the earth realms, right? It's interesting because I feel like this Mercury retrograde, we talked about it, it needs to be very reflective, right? And I'm hearing something like, thank you, Spirit. I'm hearing something like, let me show you the way. What do we have? Ooh, the Wheel of Fortune. Look at this. The Wheel of Fortune. This is giving very, what I would call is calf, if you're going to say it like you're in Appalachia now. Cough, but, in the, older, way more ancient occulted teachings of tarot, because you guys know that the body of tarot is like a collective energy. There's so much woven into, packaged, symbolized, metaphorical, astrology, numerology. I mean, everything. It's all there. The Wheel of the Year, it's all there. So I love when we have an opportunity to learn deeper about the cards. Because sometimes I feel like the more that you are able to, there it is, the more that you're able to learn deeper about the tarot, the more that you're able to understand to use it as a tool for self-awareness, growth, healing, education and spiritual realms, learning more about higher dimensionalities of your own self that you might like to embody, connecting cards to like meditation, ritual, and journal work, because this is like a higher frequency of using the tarot. For me personally, that's how I view it. I think it's just, look, tarot always going to be real. If you tap into yourself and you tap into tarot with questions, especially when you couple that with numerology and astrology and planetary alignments of each card, I mean, I ain't even going to play it like, especially if you learn astrology, you can do it through the tarot as well. Even if you just start with the major arcana. Dude, we should do a class. We should. Oh, snap. Is Spirit giving us something? Comment below. Shout out to my gang, my soul tribe, my family. Like the video. It just helps me know, like, are you watching? Are you receiving? Again, I don't do my channel for monetization. I am never opposed to any way that the universe chooses to bring me blessings. That's just not my intention of this space. I have other spaces where I do work with people one-on-one, but yeah, I also prefer to keep like my candles, my creations, my offerings. I love to do custom, very genuine, very energetically, magically, and organically nature infused creations. And to keep that integrity, my personal opinion, you got to do it small batch. You just gotta. And I'll even do small batch creations sometimes, you guys, inspired by things. And then people will ask, hey, and we handle those scenarios, but I don't know. It's never ergonomically developed. I've told you this before. I've had a shop many times. And I don't know. That's not the vibe. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Wouldn't it be fascinating to walk through the major arcana card? I wonder if I'll have to brainstorm. I'm going to have to brainstorm this with Spirit and brainstorm this with my collective and my soul sisters. I wonder if it could be like each month you learn about a card. But I'm just thinking, like, could we go? I really prefer to, ooh, ciao. We would have to start it and flow through the wheel of the year. We would just have to. I am not going to go Gregorian with that. I rebuke it. I refuse. I will not put us in frequency fences to learn about the tarot. But there's just so much in the depth of every card. There's so many ways that your higher self and your spirit team and the spirits of the earth and what have you, whatever archetypes of energy reach out to speak to you and work with you at that time, because that's your ancestors and your higher self directing you through the universal energy anyway. So it's really cool when you start understanding the depth, especially major arcana. I don't even know about the minors. I'm just sticking with major arcana right now because it's really speaking to me. Okay, this could be the birth of a new class or something. That's interesting. Because I know the way that I do my full moon group, and I have a monthly major arcana group, is some people prefer to pay monthly. And then sometimes I'll offer, hey, if you want to pay up front for all 12 months or whatever it is, whatever the container, 9 months, whatever. Like, this would be really cool if we did. Okay, I see it. But there's so many cards. Well, there's 21. Ooh, I don't know. Because, you see what I'm saying? Like, there would be some months where we would do 2 cards. That's interesting. I'm not sure how we would do it. Anyway, food for thought. Thank you so much, Spirit, for giving us inspiration through creativity, for giving us opportunities to network and learn and share with each other. And you guys, next year we'll go from a Virgo year to a Libra year. So that's great for connection and teaching and learning and collaborative energies and stuff like that. Yeah, that's excited. I'm gonna have to see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see though. That would be super exciting. I would love for us to be able to connect too, maybe like once in the month and chit chat with each other. Anyway, look, if you follow my Facebook business page or any of that stuff, and like you can message me or email me, let me know if this just pings for you and you're like, oh, shoot, I would love. Now, I'm not talking about love and light, because everyone needs to start somewhere on their learning journey with something like a body of collective spiritual energy in the tarot, or the tarot, however you prefer to say that. But this would be deep. You know, we would be learning like the Hebrew letters. We would be learning about archetypes associated. We would be learning about planetary things. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Okay, let's bring it back. Thank you so much, Spirit. Hey, did you see I put on the community tab because I was channeling that song, and I should have known it was Jim Morrison. He is an archetype of energy in the spiritual frequency that I deeply have always connected to. Always, always. And the doors. Hello, we've been talking about these void portals. And I was sharing on the community tab, because I shared a link to the song about the Doors song. I'm gonna, what is it? I'm gonna something through to the other side. Okay. Listen, it's a door portal. It's a void portal, but also the beginning of so much potential. Uh-oh. Not us connecting hands. Look at us collective. Oh, are we meeting each other through a new path? Have we perhaps understood? This could be symbolic of perhaps you might find yourself still working with Hecate. She's still very present. I'm so excited too. I need to share her shop so I can shout her out, because you know I love to support people. But I got my Hecate bracelet and I'm really hype about it. I love all the beads and the gemstone energy. So now I have Lilith with me, and I have Hecate. She'll probably end up... y'all know I have all these tattoos and they mean something. This was when I did a teaching journey with someone about the path of Lilith. Ooh, child, listen, be ready. The path with Lilith. That was something else, friend. Yes, here is the door. Perhaps you may find that you are still doing some alchemical... things are still coming into amalgamation. Spirit is saying that word has come through again. Let's go back to that word, because some will find... Here's what I'm hearing. Things are still coming into amalgamation for some. Some will find that they understand what they have to bring to Hecate, i.e. bring to the crossroads, i.e. set upon the offering. May it be joyfully or sacrificially. Either way, I'm hearing the offering will be well received if it comes from the correct heart frequency, because that in fact will be what unblocks that heart frequency. This is how I hear it. This is how the goddess archetype Hecate is bringing it through. I'm also seeing Ma'at once again. That's the scales. Okay, that she is associated with the Justice card. Next year will be... Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting a lot. Okay, so some will find themselves at that place. Some will also find they have now received, they're holding the keys, and some will be ready to put the keys into the new doorways. Do you see how some could be still coming into... I'm reading this very intuitively, but hold tight. Some could find that they are really coming on their paths. They're coming to the paths. The paths are bringing them to their doors. You see, look how many. We've got silver, shiny, like bright star. We've got golden paths. We've got, perhaps you could imagine that this, hey, it's like, it depends on how you look at it, what path you're coming to your doorway on. Perhaps you could imagine. What did I put in the community tab as well? I had been journaling about, Saturn and Pisces, the dissolution of gates and keys. But see, the dissolution processes are what kind of, it's almost like things are changing at such a rapid pace in this moment. It's very liquid portals. Hello, that's very Pluto and Aquarius. That's very Pisces. That's very water triangles. I feel that Jupiter retrograding is slowing down to kind of make sure it's like, okay, make sure you find yourself on the right path, because you're going to step onto the boat. Remember the boat? I'm breaking on through to the other side. Oh gosh, you can't unsee it. So perhaps it was that you were on a dark path, but it was still lit, you see? I'm hearing this song, you guys, and I remember it from a very specific time when it used to break my heart, but it doesn't anymore. And maybe that's a message for someone. The song is called, wait, let me get a tab going because I'm getting so much. Woo, child. I know we've been here before, but if you are perhaps just finding yourself with us today, we've talked about amalgamation before. The act, process, or result of combining or uniting. Not Libra frequency. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna break on through to the other side. 2026 will be. Sorry. Oh shit. I'm sorry, it's just a lot. Yeah, 2026. Balance, new beginnings, responsibility, new connection, new innovation. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hold on, guys. Shut the why was I not thanking you guys? This is the year, this is 10 is right in front of us. Ooh, 2026 being the 10th year. Perhaps Spirit is encouraging us is what is on the other side of our doors. The doors. Y'all, you cannot make this shit up. It is wild. Don't we just love? Aren't we just thankful and gratitude for magic and synchronicity and the way the beautiful. This is a very North Node in Pisces as well. Wow. Wow. It is a 10 year, but in essence, we can also understand that in a 10 year, Spirit is saying we also find ourselves at the number one. So it's not only the Wheel of Fortune energy, but you can also connect the Fool. I'm sorry, tripping. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, shit. Hold on. Because Spirit is saying you can also connect the energy that we are being prepared for. 0 is the Fool, but 1 is also the Magician. Okay. Dang. The Fool. Because what I was going to say is sometimes it's almost as if things are moving so rapidly because it's washing up, because it's cleaning out. I'm seeing a spiral of when one door opens, you're plugging the drain because you're going forward and it's like, I'm seeing water. This is like a cosmic drain. I don't know, water going down the drain, but that's because you're being prepared to be moved elsewhere. All of this stuck stagnant energy is being pulled off you. It's being washed, it's being cleaned, it's being drained. I'm getting this as well. Perhaps this could be collaborative connection creation. This could be your higher self, your spirit team guiding you as well, pulling you, break on through to the other side, pulling you up through the doors. I know y'all see that. That's crazy. I felt so called to this freaking deck. And I believe, okay, that card looks like it's about to jump right off. Okay, hold on. We're going to talk about that. I'm hearing a book. Okay, I had to slow it down for a minute because I'm getting so much off this card. Yeah, but I'm just, what? The 10 is right there on the card, y'all. Hold on. It's really interesting because it's going to be a 10th house year, you guys. Public career, you're standing in the world. You're standing in the world card. This is very interesting, but I need to type something so I don't forget it. Hatchet, the book. I immediately thought of this book called Hatchet when I saw this. Two of Swords is also giving like paths that lead to you are being cut off. I'm seeing cord cutting. And again, these cards give like you can read it intuitively. You see almost like somebody might have been trying to walk a floor to get to something, but I'm seeing they didn't realize there was a mirror. There was a mirror trick. Someone fell through. Okay, this is giving very much like paths being broken up. I thought that, but then the whole time you were breaking through to the other side anyway, so it didn't matter. This could have also been like choosing a path. You found the door. Okay, you had to cut off other things. This is also very sacrificial. You see the scythe, the sickle, whatever, the scythe, too, which makes me think of the wheat being separated from the chaff. The hands are there again, bro. Do you see that? You see the hands, though? Okay, Spirit is reminding me. All right, so the hands, let's go back. Thinking about teaching about, this is a Jupiter card as well, but the Hebrew letter that is associated with this card is called Kaf, Kaf. Kaph, if you kind of like to take notes and tap into your own intuition with it. It means the palm of your hand. And it has to do with the fact that your hand turning the wheel, your destiny, your fate, is essentially how you're creating the path that unfolds for you. I'm hearing, I'm hearing this, the goddess, the archetypes of energy are showing me in a way. If your hands are closed, remember we've been talking about detached compassion, letting things go, trust, faith in the universe, okay? Which is not the same as spiritual bypassing. Please understand that, because those frequencies can just be overwhelmingly strong, and you've got to be sharp. You've got to understand what paths to just completely cut off all access to. Especially that Spirit is saying this work begins in your mind first. What I'm also getting is like, it begins in your mind first. Yeah. Okay, so if your hands are full, I don't know, I'm seeing something like this. You know how I used to play that game, a sleight of hand? Okay, that kind of takes us back to energy shape-shifting. But if you're holding on real tight, number one, you cannot let loose what you need to metaphorically lay down, sacrificially or willingly or whatever the case is. All our paths look different right now. Some of us, it's like, child, I done been asked to manifest it, create it, channel it, be it, embody it, and then let it go so many times that I don't even really hold on. I just show up, and I am an electromagnetic being, which makes me think about the frequency questions yesterday, and I just let it flow through me. I don't even hold to begin with. I just be. And then wherever I go, I go. However abundance attracts, or I attract it, or it's attracted to me, I'm just in flow, which is really the best way to be in these deep water trines. Pluto and Aquarius, I'm being reminded here, trumps the board. So don't worry about that. It's almost like in the background, way back there. Maybe we could say Pluto's watching us way out. I heard, I don't care if you think I'm a damn real planet or not. You know? It is the doors, though. Okay. So we have to be able to release things. Number one, to lay things down, or to offer things, right? So then once we complete that process, either you find yourself at, okay, I'm going to stop white knuckling and I'm just going to let it go. Okay, I'm going to let it go. And it's just a process of just being. You just let it go and it just, everything is, right? So then you can actually turn your hands and be open to receive. So perhaps it is that it is time for you to complete the alchemical process, and you'll realize, remember I was saying in one channeled space, was this collective or a one-on-one? I was saying someone holding things in their hands and then transmuting and saying, oh, it's a stone. Now it's a feather. Now it's an acorn, and then it's like, well, now it's a stone again. Okay, but somehow you have a key. Now you open your hands and, Spirit says, good job. Well, now there's your key. And then you understand, because you were able to open your hands, you transmuted something. So now you have a key. All of this is happening though. The key, the door. Opening the door takes bravery and courage, but then once you go through the door, that you've alchemized a hand. The hand could be a higher connection to source, to your own divine self, to your spirit team, to a new creative or alchemical process, to a new journey. Because next year we will transition into that newness of not only 10, but 0 and 1, which is the Fool, which is the Magician. Who does the alchemy of the transformation is the Magician. And what's wild is he has all his elements on his table. But I'm getting ahead of myself because that's for next year. At this time, in the true spirit of the crossroads and Hatchet and completing this work of this Mercury retrograde, what it is important to understand is that it's you. Hey, I'm pointing myself too, child. It's you. As above, so below, right? That's why the stars are so present on this depiction of the wheel card. Because in the teaching, and mind you, this Jupiterian card, again, Jupiter going into retrograde is very different than other planets. Okay, so Jupiter is kind of stepping forth, I understand, in this retrograde energy. Jupiter, which is a very, still, she is the great benefic, and we're speaking of energetic frequencies. It does not have to be gender specific. Love and light to all. We love everybody over here, okay? He, she, them, they. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. But Jupiter is definitely more like a mothering teacher. In retrograde is like, especially in Cancer, come on over here. You know what? I was thinking maybe you could come over, and I haven't seen you in so long, honey. Like, I've been worried about you. It's your Appalachian Meemaw or your Aunt May May or whoever. Y'all, you'ns and thems. All right, honey, I ain't seen you in forever. I was thinking you can come on over because I just made some tea, and I'm going to bake up some biscuits. You know what I'm talking about? Girl, honey, I just put this whole damn macaroni pie in the oven, and I was just thinking, I know you love when I bake that. Why don't you come on over? This is very Jupiterian. This is very Cancerian, saying, let's come sit down. Let's have a cup of tea. Or, honey, if you need it, you might need a little hot cap of moonshine. I don't know what you need, honey, but come on and sit down at the table with me. We're going to reflect on what you've been through. And I am benefic for you, is how Jupiter is coming through. And when we can slow down together, let's reflect on some things, because I don't want you to miss. I think the universe, honey, has really got some keys for you. And I want to, is this like you with your higher self? This could be you with your divine feminine ancestry, which goes back, I'm hearing 7 times 7 times 7. I'm seeing Cancer in the moon, and I'm seeing genetic DNA in the embryos. I'm seeing a womb. I'm seeing generations and generations and generations. I'm hearing both back and forward. Let's sit at the table and let's think about what we've learned. Saturn, mind you, is much more fatherly in the way that he teaches, because he has to understand, and he has to impress upon you to understand that you have to learn those lessons because it was for your own good, okay? And I know it hurt and it didn't feel good. I had to know that you could be in a seat of long-term sustainability, and it's much more fatherly, and it's much more coach and stern. You know what I'm saying? Discipline. You get what you earn, what you've worked hard for. Okay. But Jupiter again, and even in retrograde, Jupiter is like, let's slow down and let's think about what we've learned. Let's think about how we've grown, how we've expanded. Okay. So we've got Kaf, the palm of the own hand. You create your own destiny through your divine free will to choose. We've got Jupiter, But also, I think it's interesting that it's not lost here that there are so many beautiful. The backdrop is the cosmos, it's the stars. The goddess Nuit was like the cosmic keeper. And in a lot of, how do I explain spirit? In a lot of older, very traditional, much older, like pre-Raphaelite, like Italian Renaissance. Look, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years older. There used to always be like some type of 10-pointed. Oh shit! What am I'm tripping? Well, these are 7-pointed stars, which would be traditional for the 7 classical planets. But we have the stars here because there used to always be 10-pointed or 7-pointed stars in the illustration of the Wheel of Fortune card, because the macro and the micro will always be a reflection of each other. But also there's that sense of completement. If that's not a word, y'all. A sense of completion. This could be, again, a really strong symbol of what you are working so hard to break on through to the other side for. You see what I'm saying? The preparatory work for the next cycle that's coming in the year of 10. Okay. What are some other things that are associated? But they're not really traditionally on this. There used to be like a lot of Anubis, a lot of like Typhon, like the Ankh. There was the symbology, though, always goes back to the fact that there's very dark depths and there's very great heights, and they are all to be traversed. Kind of makes me think of like the supernal triangles on the tree of life. But what is really interesting to reconnect to back with the hands, because the hands are here too, right? Is that with Kaf, and hopefully, again, it's not going to help us right now to keep our fists closed. Oh, that could be anger. That could be frustration. That could be this fight to survive. That is not the direction that the collective is moving. Okay. But if we are able to open the hand, we can channel, higher consciousness down through what it is that we create, This gives much more of like the hand of God painting. You see what I'm saying? But are you going to reach for the hatchet, or are you going to open your hand and reach up? It's a matter of free will and choice. That's interesting. And then the choice has already been made, right? I decided to reach up higher into a higher self, into a higher vibrational frequency and timeline. We have that choice, I'm also tapping into something like the wheel, the labyrinth of just going 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but it's still progress. This whole process cycles in many lifetimes, or this can be different levels cycling through in 1 year or in a decade, or even through past lives to now. It is 10:10 on the clock just now. I wish I could show you. Wow, we started yesterday at 11:11. So shoot, spirit, come through. Okay. What's really beautiful is that the way that these cards are, it feels so victorious. It really does, yeah. But what's beautiful once again is that through the process of choosing and understanding and gleaning wisdom, again, sitting at the coffee table with Jupiter while she's slowing down and doing her retrograde, because she doesn't want you to miss out on the keys, to miss out on understanding how blessed and fortunate you are. Who else would you want to sit with if you were in reflective water trines than a very nurturing and loving mother who's willing to walk you slowly through your lessons in an energy like the womb, in an energy like Cancer, who is at home in the moon? You get what I'm saying? Excuse me. People do have a tendency to say, okay, and it depends on how you're reading. You know what I mean? That Jupiter, that the Wheel of Fortune is like, oh, that's automatic good luck. And it could be. Of course, it's your perspective. You're the creator of your own divine experience here in Earth School. If you have awoken to be divinely sovereign, if you are still moving out of a certain frequency, a certain tier of energy, Unfortunately, other things may be influencing you, but you always have the right, as it is such in the law of the universe. In universal law, we understand that if you ask the questions and you are willing to do the homework, your divine sovereignty never leaves you. You, in fact, just reconnect to it. This is giving very reconnection. Hey, hey, psst, tap, tap, tap. Are you really going to choose the hatchet? What are you choosing? Or are you going to separate the wheat from the chaff? If you can, perhaps maybe we can get rid of this here and you can just come with me. I'm hearing like there's a backstage back behind. There's some sort of exit. You can exit this. Maybe this is a message that someone needs to hear today. Woo, child, this water. Ooh, wee. Mercury and Sag is really opening portals through our crown chakra, though. You see how this is beckoning upwards. This is beckoning upwards. Because so many people are coming to understand this frequency right now. And I know, love and light, when you look out into the macro, whether you're looking at the community or you're looking at politics or you're looking at the world stage, I know how it looks. But do you understand the gag is that's how the energy vamp stays with the teeth in your side of your neck, is to trick you into how it looks. You know what I'm saying? That's when we have a free will to choose. That's what I was going to say. The Wheel of Fortune is commonly understanding like, oh, this is an immediate blessing. But what it really is sometimes life also throws like wild cards too, you know. The Wheel of Fortune is unexpected change. But some things, okay, how is this? I'm getting that, you know, sometimes unanswered prayers are a blessing. I'm getting like, maybe you thought that this was not favorable, but ooh, child, if you can see how you dodged that bullet. Honey, if you would have picked up that hatchet and went running back again, if I could have only, you ever be like, you be thinking back 5 years, a decade, Lord, child, bless. 20 years, I'd be thinking back, if you would have told me what was going to be in that chapter, I wouldn't have chose it. Or would I have been brave enough at the time? Okay, this is also giving like sometimes you just hopping on the wheel. And are you guaranteed everything that's on the other side of the door? No, but I mean, you partnering with your own soul and spirit team of your higher self, would you manifest a key that would not lead you to where you're supposed to be going? No, why would you do that to yourself? If you are operating in the reclamation of your own divine sovereignty, why would you do that to yourself? You know what I'm saying? You're literally the entire universe, like dancing in this form of this human embodiment. You long to bless yourself because all of it is you. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, so the fortune card, you can't have the fortune card and think about everything that we're being led to in the year of 10, which is also in the year of 1. You gotta there's go with the flow, you know, there's go with the flow. Sometimes you can be blocking your own self from the universe trying to take you to a place that would be such a greater blessing for you. But this could be symbolic of fighting in the mind. Okay, now I'm being drawn back to how I heard that book, Hatchet. I was always, shout out to all my honors kids. You know, what is it? I saw a meme one time. Ooh, y'all, I resonated with it. I felt called out. Talking about, hey, shout out to all my elder millennials who were in all the honors English courses. And wow, look at all of our books are on the do not read list now. Or then it was like, are you now in a life of self-help and healing and spirituality and awareness? Something like that. But it had to do with being an honors child. Ooh, y'all, I relate. I wouldn't take it back, though. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't. But I remember Hatchet. Let's go. Let's remind ourselves about the story of Hatchet. Hold on one second. Let's just go generic, y'all. Let's go Wikipedia. Okay, but just shout out. Oh, I should have known it was published on Bradbury Press. Hatchet is a 1987 young adult wilderness survival novel written by the American writer Gary Paulson. And it was a series. I don't know if you guys remember that. Wow, 1987. Brian Robeson is a 13-year-old son of divorced parents as he travels from Hampton on a Cessna 406 bush plane to visit his father in the oil fields of northern Canada for the summer. The pilot suddenly suffers a massive heart attack and dies. Damn. Brian assumes control of the plane and makes an effort to land, but he runs out of fuel in the process, forcing him to attempt a ditching. Okay, and as a result, he crash lands into an L-shaped lake in the middle of a vast forest. Brian survives the crash with only a few minor injuries. Throughout the summer, he learns how to survive on his own in the vast wilderness. Nothing but his windbreaker and a hatchet. A gift his mother gave him. Y'all, do you fucking... Hold on. A gift his mother gave him shortly before his plane departed. Do you see the metaphorical reference of Jupiter and Cancer there and your ancestral gifts that helped you survive? But there's something here about this is what you've already been through. That's why this came out underneath. You feel me? This could be about abandonment wounds. This could be about the eighth house. This could be about trauma and the roots of shadows that keep you from the true reclamation of your divine sovereignty. I hear it like this. This could be about, I'm hearing, you're coming out from under a spell. Damn. I'm hearing, your gifts weren't intended for you to use. Gifts were coming through so fucking strong yesterday, and I saw some of you commenting, yes. Okay. Your gifts weren't intended to be used for survival, for fight or flight, like forever and ever. Okay. Okay, let's see. A gift his mother gave him shortly before his plane departed. He discovers, you see how he was going to fly away from his mother, but she made sure that he would be able to survive? Interesting that this is coming through. He discovers how to prepare a fire with the hatchet and eats whatever food he can, from rabbits and ruffled grouse he nicknames fool birds to turtle eggs and fish and berries. Simultaneously, he deals with many of nature's dangers, including mosquitoes, a porcupine, 2 huge bears, one of which is a mother and her cubs, a pack of 3 wolves, a skunk. So we have animal spirits, rabbits, turtle, porcupine, bear. We have wolf, skunk, a moose. It says he also battles a bad-tempered female moose and even a tornado. Over time, Brian develops his survival skills and becomes a fine woodsman. Uranus and Taurus. Damn, Uranus and Taurus. Do you see it? He crafts a bow, some arrows, and a fishing spear to aid in his hunting. He also fashions a shelter out of the underside of a rock overhang. During his time alone, Brian struggles with memories of home. Struggles with memories of home. Definitely abandonment issues. I feel that in my heart space. I was definitely dropped into the wilderness very unexpectedly the year that I was going to graduate. And it's wild how what you thought was doors were actually hatchets. But then when you need to like lay your hatchets down, you have to separate from those paths and come back to doors once again, and how that transition can be. Over time, Brian develops his survival skills. I'm going to have to read this damn book again, y'all. Dang. Okay. Holiday reading. And he becomes a fine woodsman. He crafts a bow, some arrows, and a fishing spear to aid in his hunting. He also fashions a shelter out of the underside of a rock overhang. During his time alone, Brian struggles with memories of home, right? Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, as well as the bittersweet memory of his mother. Whoa, I'm going to read it. Maybe it's a message. Whom Brian had caught cheating on his father before their divorce. Dang, Brian was going through shit, y'all. Damn, at 13? Golly, I had a tough time. It wasn't an easy road for me either, Brian. I feel you, man. When a sudden tornado hits the area, it draws the tail of the plane toward the shore of the lake. This brings Brian to believe that there may be a survival pack of some description on the plane. He makes a raft from broken treetops, gets to the plane. When he cuts his way through the fuselage into the tail section, he drops his hatchet in the lake and dives to get it. Once inside the plane, Brian finds a survival pack that includes an array of tools, additional food, an emergency transmitter, and a rifle. Back on shore, Brian activates the transmitter, but not knowing how to use it, he believes it's broken from the water damage. Stay with me, friends. He activates his transmitter, Uranus and Taurus, but he doesn't yet know how to use it, so he thinks it's broken. You know the amount of trust and faith that he would probably have to be sitting in? So he tosses it aside. Perhaps this is what happened to our gifts until we were ready to receive these keys again, yeah? However, the distress beacon was still functional. He ain't even know the whole time. He done thought it was broken, tossed it. But he wasn't never alone because the distress beacon had sent up the signal. It was still functional. It says the signal is picked up by the pilot of a passing airplane. Hello? Do you see it? This makes me think of how when Uranus first moved into Gemini, friends, we kept talking about telomeres. We kept talking about developing new antenna. This takes me back to how my friend, my dragon sister, shout out to my dragon sister, and she was asking questions about energetic transfer. Okay. However, we were talking about growing these antennas, growing these neuro pathways, things happening in our mind, things happening quickly in our DNA. Do you remember also, Jupiter is reminding me that Jupiter was in Gemini to prepare you for such a time as this before Jupiter was going to come back and sit down with you in Cancer to make sure you didn't miss none of your keys, your wisdom, your abundance, which brings you a blessing that no one can steal from you. This is how I hear it. And now Uranus will take us back through the journey, which requires the faith and the trust of dropping the hatchet like Brian did in the river just now, right? Understanding the embodiment of everything that was always with you, even when you didn't know it. Because come April, Uranus is going to go back into Gemini. We won't be back in these kind of regrounding and bringing things into your body and your embodiment. It's going to be a long time, okay? Love and light, a long fucking time. So we got to glean it out now. Going back one more time. However, the distress beacon was still functional and the signal picked up by the pilot of a passing airplane, which he is rescued by. The epilogue explains that Brian had spent the remainder of the summer with his father, but did not disclose his mother's affair, and how surviving on his own for a total of 54 days has a permanent effect on him for the better. But it was never his destiny to stay lost. In fact, even when he had given up all hope, can you imagine? He lost the hatchet. He's destitute, probably so sad. He may have given up hope at that point. I don't know, right? But the whole time the universe was conspiring to make sure that he was not left behind. You feel that from these two cards? You understand the connection? Dang, Spirit, I didn't know it was going to go in like this, but here we are. So this brings me back to think about, because of the beacon still transmitting the signal, an emergency transmitter, which is what we all are in a certain type of embodiment right now. This makes me think about how I was trying to think of how to answer my friend's question when we were saying energy longs to, I don't know, not kind of body hopping, kind of, scary tales of the body snatchers. So I was like, how do we talk about this? Because it's not that frequencies, and at our core, we are all frequencies of energy, okay? Vibrating in this quantum field of resonance, you know what I'm saying? It is a more dense experience here in Earth School as it is being experienced right now by the collective. As the collective changes in their experience of it, it will also change. That's very Pluto and Aquarius, okay? But frequency is like, we're talking about sound, we're talking about light, right? Frequency is like, it's like waves, okay? And and it has to do with like waves moving through a medium, moving through a space. And transference depends on the wave and the medium it is moving through. It also is generated by a certain source. And so what's happening, let's get scientific. Let's talk in quantum. Let's talk in scientific. Switch gears with me. Hold tight. Switch gears with me. The transference of frequency, i.e. in the form of energy, is called propagation. So what happens is the source created a ripple, and it moves out from the source. So whether we're talking about air, whether we're talking about water, whether we're talking about person to person and people, the divine containers of the divine like embodiment of all source light and energetic frequency, right? People are fascinating, mind you, because their bodies contain air, their bodies contain water, their bodies contain plasma, and their bodies contain minerals, which is earth. So we are a walking little package of all of this, which means there are so many different ways for energetic transfer, for frequency transfer, i.e. propagation. Okay, stay with me. Something vibrates. It creates a ripple in a medium, let's say air, okay, let's say sound. So what happens is things that are nearby the source point of the disturbance, frequency, vibration, whatever, these molecules will then start to also be vibrated. And that's how energy patterns kind of pass along to people in a wave-like. What's interesting though, okay, stay with me. We are electromagnetic beings, but we also contain all of these elements. So not only can we pass and receive mechanical, in theory, propagation, we can also do this electromagnetically. So not only can we receive things that need physical mediums to travel, we can also oscillate electric and magnetic energy. And you don't need any kind of medium to do that. That means even if you're in a vacuum, if you are sitting, hello, what is a vacuum? It is a void portal. Do you see the connection? The void portals can still oscillate electric and magnetic fields, okay? And you say, what? How? Let's use the human as an example. That's because there is an antenna source. So in science, let's say you have a literal void and you're trying to create either a light wave or you're trying to generate or stimulate a radio wave, like hertz, sound frequency radio waves, but let's just say light. There is a source inside there, an antenna. Oscillating currents travel at the speed of light. Antennas. Do you hear what I'm saying? Wait, let's tab back. What were we talking about? An emergency transmitter. He thought it was damaged. It had been tossed aside, but the whole time it was sending out, it was functional. The signal went out and the plane saved him. Okay, are you connecting here with me? So now, when a propagation happens, a source creates the origination of the wave. The propagation is the transfer of the wave, the movement, the frequency, if you will. The reception happens through some sort of receiver. You feel me? Again, hello. Jupiter was preparing us to give us gifts to unfold. The great benefactor was in Gemini before she moved to Cancer to make sure that all of our waters would be good once we were opening up these. Remember we were in a collective reading talking about opening tiny packages? Do you remember that? That was in 2023, the year of 7, because we talked about a lot of water. Right? Anyway, I don't know. I think actually Jupiter came into that the following year, and we were saying Jupiter was leaving us these packages. And then when Uranus came into Gemini, the packages were going to open, the gifts from the great benefactor. Do you see where we're going? Okay. There's something here about, oh, child, if you don't understand, if you don't chop, there's some chopping something down. Uranus and Taurus, unexpected lightning bolts, the lightning, lightning hitting the trees makes me think of the Tower moment in the Light Seers Tarot. And then leading us to the Magician and the Fool, and then also the Wheel of Fortune. Hello, like there is so much working in your favor. Okay, so here's what happens. Mind you, our body is an oscillating electromagnetic antenna. Do you get what I'm saying? I would hypothesize that we are learning how to evolve to operate on quantum levels, which are way more than the speed of light. So beyond, okay? But then we have to start unraveling the liminal, and sometimes we're not all ready for that. So if you vibrate with that, right, you can kind of dive into that rabbit hole. Let's say when the receiver occurs, when the reception of the transfer occurs, that receiver will then vibrate or oscillate at the same frequency. And then we will receive that energy, i.e. our electromagnetic bodies, which are also full of each element. So whether it's light, whether it's a radio type of wave, and this is a very Aquarian conversation, mind you. It's almost like Pluto in Aquarius has the ability to completely liquidate everything back to plasma, distribute it throughout the communities accordingly, and then the receivers, which are ready to oscillate and vibrate as the same frequency, can take in that oscillation. They can take in that signal, and then they break it back down, i.e. they open the packages. Do you get what I'm saying? Now that we've come to that point, let's continue real quickly to explain that frequency, okay, this is kind of been understood in science, right? Okay, frequency remains constant in a single medium. What that means, and this is a big fundamental understanding, the frequency will stay the same if it travels through mediums that are at the same vibration. Do you get what I'm saying? Imagine tuning a radio, okay? If your antenna, if your electromagnetic body, if your waters, if your neuropathways that are receiving these electric stimulations from your antenna, and I hypothesize as well, Uranus and Gemini, we're going to understand that we have things that we can't see. We know we do. I mean, hello, aeons ago, the shamans knew it. They just couldn't articulate it because they didn't have this ability, right? So where is your antenna tuned into? What frequency? What's your radio broadcasting? Because that's what you will oscillate, i.e. the law of attraction. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so that's why I'm saying there's hungry radio stations that are dying out because no antennas oscillate on that frequency anymore. So it's not like, oh, I've got to try really hard. It's not that. You have evolved to that exactly what you are. And that is what is most authentic to you and natural for you to resonate at, okay? I hope that all makes sense, okay? It's not something I'm going to try really hard to be super positive. It's not even about positive and negative. It all just is, you know what I'm saying? But that kind of touches on how my friend was asking, like, about, I think that air signs and water signs are super sensitive when it comes to this. I feel that earth dominant energy is able to, just like you ground a live wire, they ground it out and kind of hold the corners of the field, so to speak. They hold it down, okay? Which is interesting to consider. Uranus finishing the journey in Taurus. What are you officially bringing back down into your antenna for good? You know what I'm saying? But, and I think fire signs just, they have the ability to do like a burn off, just a burn off, boom, burn it off, pushing forward, burn it off. But that's just my own perspective, and we're kind of getting off the topic. But I think that air and water, they oscillate, and it's different. I want to say in the sensitivity of it, right? This is interesting, and I want to read this. What do we... Damn, what is time? 59 minutes for real? Okay, I want to read this, though. The Doppler effect and apparent frequency shift. If there's a relative motion between the source and the observer, the observed frequency will be different from the emitted frequency. That's your perspective. You feel what I'm saying to you right now? For example... You may not even be able to have seen the hand. It was right in front of you. Somehow Spirit is connecting this back to holding too tightly as opposed to being let go. This could be holding too tightly to a perspective. Maybe there is a frequency from your ancestors, from your higher self, from a shift in timelines, from Jupiter sitting with you patiently at this table, serving you some fucking mac and cheese and some damn good ass slice of cake and some dark, sweet ass mountain tea, okay, out in the holler, trying to say, look, honey, you missing what Spirit is trying to show you, okay? Because I want you, okay, Spirit will be moving towards you. Read about the Doppler effect if you're fascinated by this. Source, right? If something is moving towards someone who's watching it, the wave becomes compressed differently, and the frequency of the light can change. So things can get compressed or spread out. They can be different. Think of your eyeballs and all the stuff going on in your eyes. Okay. So how are you choosing to see what you observe is kind of something that's coming through here. And at the bottom of all this can definitely be a message of, we are really trying to slow the portals down. The void portals are important because you've got to understand how it is that you're seeing these things. I'm seeing, y'all hear me out, I'm seeing beer goggles. Okay, Spirit said. Spirit, sorry, what is this? Is this from her class? Excuse me, guys. Beer goggles, right? Because you don't even know. Okay, I'm hearing when they turned all the lights on, I was like, oh no, this is a very similar thing. Do you understand? What is your single medium? What is your fundamental frequency you're tuned into right now? It is so important. This also affects in microcosm of consciousness to the macro of the collective consciousness. Do you see very quickly how you begin to put this together and understand the dimensionality of this earth school? Although, yes, it is intended that we would be embodied in this Taurian, this very 5D, this very organic, very real, tangible Venusian Terra Gaia. As it is a matrix, but it's the organic one that is not diluted, that is not black Saturnian inverted, although all of that stuff is dying, is being washed out. But we experience time differently, okay? So I know how it feels right now, I'm just saying. But do you see how things can become rapidly changing? Okay? What else was it? What else did I take a note about? Medium changes. When a wave passes from one medium to another, for example, sound like going through the air and then you duck below water and you try to scream in water, or like light streaming through a window, but then you sit a glass of water. This is what we're talking about, okay? When a wave passes, remember waves are frequency. Frequency is energy, okay? When a wave passes from one medium to the other, let me tell you something. My voice speaking to you right now is energy in the form of a wave passing from me to you, okay? What your eyeballs are showing you in accordance to how they are reading what the light is showing you. I know, right? Then it fucks with you. You're like, hold on. I shift my perspective and it's like I live in a whole new world. Yes, that's why people are talking about that we live in multidimensionality. But listen, I don't want to lose you, okay? But I'm trying to get you to see this. Do you feel what I'm saying? When a wave passes from one medium to the other, i.e. sound from air, air to water, light from air to a glass. Okay, we just went through that. Its speed and wavelength changes. The frequency remains the same because the wave is going to keep continuity. But how you experience that energy will be in accordance with the medium of reception. Do you understand? Woo, child. Why am I getting, what is that? I'm getting that Leonardo DiCaprio movie where he's in the dreams. Y'all, what was it called? And shit would be like folding back on itself and they're trying to, whoa, that is what timeline shifts really feel like. And then I kept getting wave spell. Didn't I write? I did, but I never came back to it. I was writing wave spells. Spirit, I don't know. We might leave wave spells for later. A wave spell is a standard fractal unit of measure. A form constant of 13 units representing... It's like a fourth dimensional unit of measurement. I know, y'all like, hold on, you losing me. Oh gosh, how do we even... I feel like we need to get into wave spells in a different video perhaps. Because then we have to talk about dimensionalities and pulse. Okay, woo-wee! Spirit is taking us. But I think what's important to understand is your perception for sure. And it's so wild again how all these paths. Are you looking at dark paths? Are you looking at purple third eye, wavy, beautiful star consciousness, higher vibrational paths? Are you back here in these Plutonian paths? I know one thing, wherever you're at, you're not alone. I know that. Okay. Whoa. I feel called to close it by, let's look. Why do I feel called to see number 51, the Two of Swords? What does this book say? I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't always resonate with the book, but I feel led to go there. Okay, shit. Spirit come through. Tiger's eye is suggested, so that may be helpful. Child, not me wearing it right now on my brand new evil eye bracelet. You know, I got two different kinds. Was Hakata? No, that wasn't one of her stones. But anyway, I got it on right now. It's a decision. It's decision time, and you're feeling avoidant. Close your eyes. Remember how we talked about the medium changes, light passing through? Don't miss that. Close your eyes with the intention to find your grounding inner voice. Uranus and Taurus, okay? Mercury and Sagittarius, okay? Close your eyes. You might sleep late and zone out these days. Remember, only close your eyes when it feels grounding, not avoidant, as life is still moving forward. Making no choice will leave you in an unending state of anxiety. That's the shadow frequency of Neptune, the shadow of Pisces, the shadow of avoidant, the shadow of addiction, the shadow of the void portals. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Making no choice will leave you in an unending state of anxiety. Eradicate fear. Spirit says, say that shit with your whole chest. Eradicate fear. I am eradicating my fear. Claim that shit. Eradicate fear and make your choice, knowing nothing is perfect. And everything just is. It's beautiful. The unfoldment is the only thing that's perfect. You see? I'm hearing Interstellar is a movie. Maybe someone should watch that. Has anyone watched it? Okay, let's... Oh, shit. Y'all, listen. Every little thing you do is magic. Bum, 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 bum. Because every little thing we do is, isn't it? That's what we're talking about. Look at the waves. Look at the waves between the hands, y'all. I cannot. I was like, you know what? Let's get one more card. So I was going to shuffle. Spirit said... I got you. So we're just going to look at it and we're going to read from the book. Yo, it's Neptune. And no one's really knowing where it is we are going. Okay, it's that river. It's that Neptune. What was it in the book in Hatchet? Oh, it was a tornado. Wow, a wave spell, a tornado, a hurricane, love and light to anyone who would be in the path of the earthly destruction. And we hope that all beings are always held safe, that they are always secure, and that we can find our way back home. Okay, that's what my Big Vizier is for, y'all. Wow, it's the Neptune Pisces card, the Hanged one. Mm-hmm. How's going to talk about close your eyes, but only when it feels grounding, not for avoidance. Child, look, I know you see all them open eyes, just looking right at you. Okay, Spirit said just read from the book. That's what we're going to do. Sorry, number 12. Howlight, patience, child, perspective, and mindfulness. I couldn't even speak that word, dang. You've come a long way. I'm hearing, we come a long way together. I'm about to praise you like I should. I'm seeing waves that have come a long way from far out. Ooh, what the heck? This makes me think of that, Spirit. Can you show me, please? It makes me think of the Pluto satellite. We've come a long, long way together. I'm about to praise you like I should. What was the Pluto satellite? Hold on. The waves have come a long way to reach you, to reach us. The main Pluto mission was NASA's New Horizons spacecraft, which conducted, I remember us talking about this. Wasn't it recently? One of these, Pluto 1 and Pluto 2, and one of them came back and it had some kind of frequency on it. The main Pluto mission was NASA's New Horizons spacecraft, which conducted the first close-up flyby of Pluto and its moons in 2015, launched in 2006. It provided humanity's first detailed images and data of the dwarf planet system. While Pluto's satellite mission could also refer to future missions to explore the new moons, New Horizons was the sole mission to have visited the Pluto system so far. Perhaps 2015 was a pertinent year to someone. Hold on. What was the one that came back? Oh my God, that's going to drive me crazy. I can't remember the name of the satellite that sent that wave frequency back. And everybody was like, what? Okay, Spirit is not bringing it back to my mind at this time. So we'll go ahead and continue to read. But there's something here. It's like the waves coming into our antennas. They have come a long way. What is that? Spirit will show me if it's important, okay? You've come a long way, and now strategy needs to shift. Look out from your new vantage point. I know you see it. I'm literally saying I know you see it. That's too good. Look out from your new vantage point. What's revealing itself to you? Consider this, and then flip the world upside down. Were we not flipping this card, y'all? Then flip the world. Spirit is trying to be funny now. I just feel Spirit is being funny. Okay, I know y'all saw me flip that card. Consider this and then flip the world upside down to examine everything with fresh eyes. While you might feel stuck, don't fight it. Don't forget your wisdom, and that the point is to finally release control. We literally talked about that. Picture yourself hanging upside down from a tree like a child, swinging with strong legs. The space you're in is not one to fear, but revel in it. Allow the world to pass you by as you look on from a place of power. You are safe here. Wow. Evolution, cycles, and process. Wow. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave it here. I love you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I look forward to tuning in and connecting soon. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Please do share them. Please do like the video. And wow. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Love you guys. Bye.